somewhat movement. Let's start in child's pose. And so if that is like a place where, you know, you kind of have to like move around a bit to like ease into that pose, that's fine. You can start in hands and knees. If it's a place where you're like right away, like, oh yes, I want to start here. You know, my hips feel ready for it. My knees feel ready for it. It is like lengthening for my low back. It's rest. By all means, go for it. If you feel like you're like, I don't even know, I'm kind of in between, you can even grab a pillow and slide it underneath your chest to prop yourself up a little bit. So it's maybe a little bit less intense towards the ground. And I'll show you how to do that. So you can take your knees a little bit wider. Your big toes can come towards one another and your feet back towards your heels. And you can just rest on that pillow. Your forehead can land right there, or maybe one cheek or the other. Close your eyes for a moment. And just take a few rounds of breath once you're there. So you'll often hear me cue the breath as the expansion of the belly, right? Which of course it is. So you'll notice how the belly moves, whether it's like very prominent or just slightly. But for today, I want you to also think about how the breath can expand through the back of your body, right? So when you take a big breath in, think about, yes, the belly expanding, but can you feel the back expand? Like where if your ribs were to draw out towards the sides, they would also expand through the back. And then on the exhale, you can just soften a bit, release that. Take a few more rounds of breath, noticing that. So breathing into the back and breathing out to soften. Can your next breath be even bigger? A bigger inhale. A slower exhale. So nice. And then come up to hands and knees, tabletop pose. You can move that pillow off to the side if you had it, and then spread your fingers wide. You can keep your toes either tucked under or untucked, and then start to move through cat-cow here. But move with your breath if you can. So inhaling to cow, exhaling to cat. Move with your own cadence, your own rhythm. Maybe adding in a few little movements along the way, laterally, side to side. Just start to get into all those little like nooks and crannies of maybe a little bit of resistance or stickiness. Awesome. And then start to walk up your hands, up your thighs. You'll rise up onto your knees. Sweep the arms out and up. Take a deep breath in. Reach all the way up overhead. And like we did before, can you start to engage the legs a little more, maybe even the glutes, to then lift your chin and look up towards your hands. So it's less about how far you could go back, like right into a back bend, right? It's more about how lifted you can be with the fingertips, how engaged the legs can be as you find a slight back bend. So think about your sternum lifting up. Take one more inhale. So nice. And then exhale, walk the hands forward. Stay on your knees for this first plank. You'll shift your chest forward and stay long from your knees to the crown of your head. Slowly lower all the way down to the ground. Toes point back, hands come out, tent your hands, and then start to lift your chest up, wide cobra. Exhale, release to the ground. Do that one more time. Inhale to lift up, breathe in. Exhale, release. Hands underneath your shoulders. Press through your knees. Maybe find a little child's pose first. And then tuck your toes, lift your hips up and back, downward facing dog. Right away, you can soften your knees. Shake your head, yes. Shake your head, no. Notice if you're clenching the jaw, open and close your mouth a few times, move it around. Nice work. And then slowly walk your hands back towards your feet. You can even heel toe your feet nice and wide. Bend your knees a lot, drop your head, ragdoll pose, sway side to side. And slowly, when you're ready, you'll rise all the way up. You'll roll up to standing. Once you're there, find mountain pose. So your palms will face forward to let your collarbones broaden. Take a breath in through your nose. Open up your mouth. Nice long sigh out. Reach arms up and overhead. Big breath in. Can you press the palms together? And just like you did on your knees, press down through your feet, engage your glutes, then lift your chest up. Look up at your hands. Maybe lift the chin. One more breath in. And then exhale, fold forward, softening the knees, hinging at the hips. Take an inhale, hands come to your shins, halfway lift. And then as you exhale, walk the hands back forward, downward facing dog. Take what you need, full breath in. Maybe even open up your mouth again, let out a sigh. And start to rise up to your toes on an inhale. Drop your knees back down to the ground, tabletop pose. Breath in to lift the heart, find cow. Exhale, press into your hands, round your back, drop your head, cat. Back to neutral, walk your hands up your thighs, rise up onto your knees to step your right foot forward, coming into a lunge. And then again, sweep the arms up overhead, press the palms together. Now, can you start to lift the sternum? Think about like there was an invisible string, your sternum to the tops of your fingertips. Can you lift it up a little bit higher, rise? And then as you exhale, keep your hands together, bend your elbows, your thumbs will come to the back of your neck. Then can you think about lifting up through the elbows? Take one more breath in. So nice. And then as you exhale, release your hands down inside your foot. Maybe they come to a block. Take a breath in, maybe rock your hips forward a little, lift through the chest. And then exhale, pull your hips back, maybe pick the right toes up, finding that half split variation. Do that one more time. Inhale, rock forward, lift the chest, breathe in. Exhale, pull it back, pick the right toes up. Now rock back forward. You're going to send your left toes over to the right. And then wiggle walk that right foot and start to rise up. Modified warrior 2 here. So yeah, that right foot stays on the ground. Reverse warrior, right hand will rise. And then that modified side angle, we've done this before. Forearm to your thigh, left arm, let it reach alongside your left ear. One more big breath in here. So nice. And then arms come back out like that warrior 2. Left hand to the back of your mat, pick the right leg up. Yeah, and then maybe reach right arm alongside your ear. Big breath in, pull that apart. And then exhale, maybe tap right elbow, right knee. Pull it apart on the inhale. And then draw it together on the exhale. Pull it apart one last time. This time your right foot will stamp down. Rise back up, arms out like a T. So this time your right leg is long, not bent. And then drop right hand down, left arm will rise. So gate pose. One more breath in. And find your tabletop pose towards the back of your mat. You're just flipping things around a bit. Take a round of cat-cow. Big breath in, lift up. And then exhale, press into your hands, round your back. So nice. Come back to neutral. Walk your hands forward a little. Come into that plank on your knees. Lower all the way to your belly. Take your hands out a little wider, wide cobra. Lift through the chest, breathe in. And then exhale, release. One more like that. Inhale to rise. See if your legs can be active as you lift through the chest. And then exhale, lower. Hands underneath your shoulders. Press back through child's pose. Let that feel good. Tuck the toes, downward facing dog, just like before. Take a full breath in. Big exhale. Walk the hands back towards your feet like before. You're just repeating what we did before. Ragdoll pose, sway side to side. And when you're ready, bend the knees a lot. Slowly, one vertebra at a time, you'll roll all the way up to standing. Once you're there, palms forward, take that check-in, broaden the chest, breathe in. Open the mouth. And start to reach the arms out and up with strong legs. Press the palms together overhead. Maybe even start to lift the sternum, thinking about looking up towards your thumbs. Just a little back bend here. One more big breath in. And exhale, fold forward, hinge at the hips. Inhale to halfway lift, chest goes forward. And then walk the hands downward facing dog. You're still facing the back of your mat. Take a breath in, rise up to your toes. Drop your knees down, tabletop pose. Lift through the heart, breathe in, find cow. Round your back, cat pose, drop your head. Come back to neutral, walk your hands up your thighs, rise up onto your knees to step your left foot forward, still facing the back. So you get to reach the arms out and up, big breath in, press the palms together, and then start to bend through the elbows, thumbs to the back of your neck. Think about lifting up through the elbows, almost like the weight of your head goes back into your forearms. Take one more big breath in right here. And then exhale, release, hands inside your left foot. Start to rock the hips forward. Think about your heart almost going through your arms. And then exhale, pull the hips back, pick the left toes up, finding that half split. Do it again. Inhale, rock forward into the lunge. Exhale, pull it back. And then rock back forward just for a moment. Now it's your right toes, your back toes, turning over to the left. Wiggle walk that left foot for support where it needs to be. Rise up, modified warrior two. Reverse it, left hand will rise. Side angle, forearm to your thigh, right arm alongside your ear. Take one more big breath in. And back to that modified warrior two. Now it's the right hand towards the front of your mat. It's coming down. Pick that left leg up. And so as you flex your left toes, make sure they're pointing straight forward towards the long edge of your mat, right? Left arm overhead. Take a breath in, pull it apart. And then as you exhale, if you want a little more, elbow to knee. Pull it apart, draw it together. Pull it apart, stamp the left foot down, rise up. Left hand drops, right arm rises, gate pose. Take one more breath in here. Tabletop pose to the front of your mat. You get to land there. A round of cat-cow, lift through the heart, breathe in. Round your back, drop your head, cat. Back to neutral, walk your hands forward, come into that plank pose. Now, if you want to take a regular plank, of course, your hands can come back under your shoulders, maybe a little wider, and you can tuck your toes, your legs go long. Wherever you are, take one more breath in, get long through the crown of your head, and then exhale, lower all the way onto your belly. Find your cobra pose, lift through the chest, and then exhale, release. Do that one more time. Let it feel good. Rise up, heart lifts. Exhale, release down. So nice. Now I want you to stay on your belly. Start to come up slowly. Come up to Sphinx pose. So you're going to come onto your forearms like they were the number 11 in line with your shoulders. Now you can stay here. This feels really good. You can, like, of course, always stay here. If you want to get a little bit of a quad stretch or a little bit more of a back bend, your left forearm, you can bring it to just parallel the front of your mat. So you're just turning your left forearm in. And start to bend your right knee. Now the goal is to keep your hips square and your shoulders square as well, right? But as you start to bend your right knee, maybe grab for the inside of your right foot. Okay. And then once you have that foot, you might start to want to like draw that foot towards your glutes to get a quad stretch. That's where the stretch exists. You can stay there for a moment or two, but then I want you to think about holding onto that foot and kick the foot into your hand as you engage the glutes. So think about pubic bone drawing down, then lift the chest up. So this is a half bow pose. Bow pose taken on your belly, right where you grab both feet. But I really want that action to be kicking your foot into your hand, lifting the chin, maybe looking straight forward. One more big breath in with strength, and then exhale, gently release. Hand over hand, forehead on top of that. Create a little pillow. And you can bend your knees, windshield wiper the legs side to side. And let the legs come back down. So nice. Now, taking the other side, you'll slowly come back up, finding that Sphinx pose. Now you can stay here. If you're like, that really wasn't my jam, stay right here. Or you can find that rest. Again, all places to stay, all places to rest. And then if you want a little more, your right forearm comes parallel to the front of your mat. Left knee bends, grab the inside of the foot to start. So if you want that stretch, you can draw it down, that foot down. Maybe, and we're all built differently. If you want to grab the outside of the foot, that might work as well, or might work better for you. And if you have that foot in your hand, I want you to then start to kick the foot into your hand to lift your chest up. And can you keep that right leg extended, right? But your right glutes are turned on. Can you square the shoulders off a little more? Take one more breath in, look straight ahead, keep kicking that foot into your hand, and then exhale, release. Forehead onto your hands stacked right on top of one another to make that pillow. Now you can windshield wiper the legs if you want, or heels can go out, toes can go in to feel the sacrum release. And like you did before, can you take a breath in to feel the back body expand as you inhale? Slow exhale out. One more like that. Breathe in. Slow exhale out. So nice. And then slide your hands underneath your shoulders. Come up to hands and knees, tabletop pose. And I want you to take lateral movement side to side. So think of like the letter C, side to side. Just moving the spine in both directions, right and left. If you need any other movements, maybe one last cat-cow, go for it. And then take your knees a little bit wider, big toes together. If you want that pillow underneath you, grab it. Find child's pose. And it can be nice and easy. You can drop to your forearm. Maybe that block comes underneath your forehead. Or maybe you just drop down to the ground and that feels good. Take a big breath in and out. Return to that sort of breath work here. So breathing in to expand. Breathing out to land. Take a few more rounds. Awesome. And then nice and slowly you will rise up. Swing your legs around in front of you. Take your right leg long. Sole of your left foot comes inside your left thigh and start to turn your navel towards, call it 10 o'clock. So if straight ahead was 12 o'clock, you turn just slightly to the left and then start to tip over towards your right foot here. And you can bring your forearm to your leg, to the inside, or to a block here. But the idea is to get a stretch through that left low back. So maybe reach your left hand alongside, or your arm rather, alongside your ear, just like you would have in that extended side angle pose. So nice. And then you'll rise up. A little counter stretch. Just your left hand comes down and reach right arm back behind you. So you're like tipping over to the other side. Your legs don't stay the same. Or they do stay the same. Your legs do not change. And then you'll come up and now you'll change your legs. So left leg goes long. Right foot comes to your inner thigh. Turn your navel towards 2 o'clock and then lean over your left foot. And it's not about how deep you go. It's just to that point where you find a little bit of length in the side body as you still send your right sit bone to the ground. Maybe reach away from that with your right fingertips. One more big breath in. And come up, counter, drop the right hand down, left arm, reach back. And you'll come up. One more seated pose here. Take the soles of your feet together, knees out wide, sit up nice and tall as you inhale. See if you can hinge at the hips here first to take your elbows a little wider apart. And then you get to round and maybe drop your head. Maybe look beyond your toes. Whatever feels better for your spine. Take 2 big breaths right here. You're not here too long. Full breath in, expand through the back. Breathe out to soften something. And you'll slowly rise back up. Take anything that you'd like with you as you lie down on your back to get ready for a little more rest. Take arms overhead once you're there. point your toes forward. And then you might even consider bending your knees here, planting your feet and sliding that pillow underneath your knees. So then it can land behind your thighs. Let your arms come long. If you need any final shapes, like maybe a supine twist here, something with ease or support that'll allow you to settle in. Take it. And once you have landed there, in this place of rest, I want you to, again, one last time to revisit that idea of expanding as you breathe in, softening as you breathe out. Do that 2 more times. Breathe in. Soft breath out. And then see if you can, as a result, soften your toes. Soften your fingers. Soften your eyes. Maybe even soften the space in between your ears, or even your reaction to it. And allow your body to rest. With intention. In just a few more moments here. And another breath in. Maybe even open up your mouth, let out a slow sigh. You can rock your head side to side. Find movement in your fingers and your toes. And start to bend your knees. You can move that pillow out from underneath you if you have it. Roll to your side and rise up to a seat. Sitting up nice and tall here. Maybe even shrug your shoulders as you breathe in. Allow them to soften as you breathe out. Bring your hands together right in front of your heart. One last time to lift your sternum up. So thinking about your sternum rising towards your thumbs or to meet your thumbs. Take a full breath in. Big breath out. And taking your thumb tips maybe even to the center of your forehead and then lifting your chin from there. Letting this practice as always be a time where you cultivate kindness towards yourself first, so then you can share it with others. Namaste.